Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. We've been talking about the Public Corruptions Unit and how they are handling the Ghislaine Maxwell case the same way that they were handling Jeffrey Epstein's. And we have talked about some of the reasons why they might be involved. We've speculated that it could be current or former politicians, anyone from Bill Clinton to Donald Trump to insert ex-politician here, Bill Richardson, George Mitchell, plenty to choose from. And then we have the people who were involved in the prosecution of the original arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. And we have the shit show that is known as Palm Beach. And I believe that it is going to be Florida where we see the biggest earthquake in regards to this public corruptions unit and their investigations. I truly believe that Florida will be the epicenter where we see people who work for the government or who have previously worked for the government get in trouble for their behavior during the Jeffrey Epstein plea deal. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think other politicians are going to get caught up in it or people who were involved. We know that George Mitchell and Bill Richardson are both directly implicated in abusing Virginia, so they most certainly could be under the microscope as well, and I wouldn't doubt if they are. But for my money, I think that the Florida angle here is where the big fruit is going to be found as far as the Public Corruptions Unit is concerned. I think that they're going to really go hard here and dig into this plea agreement, and what they're going to find, or what they might have found already, is going to prove very problematic for former and some current employees of the federal government and the state of Florida. Our article today is from Law and Crime. This article is from September 21st, 2019. Headline: Former Epstein work release guard destroyed PBSO records are the smoking gun. This article was authored by Jerry Lamb. And again, I'm adding a little more meat to that bone, right? Some more context to what we've been talking about down in Palm Beach, and to give you a little bit more of an idea on why I think that it's going to be a huge focus in this case as we move forward. And especially if the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals overturns the whole thing, then it is game on for sure. But as of right now, I truly believe that the Public Corruptions Unit has Florida directly in their crosshairs. A West Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy on Friday divulged firsthand information relating to Jeffrey Epstein's controversial work release program. The deputy, who spoke to WPTV on the condition of anonymity, is the first PBSO deputy to speak out about the office's special treatment of the now deceased Epstein. Okay, so if this person spoke out to the paper, right, is speaking out to the media on the condition of anonymity, you would think that if the Public Corruptions Unit is digging in here, that they are going to try and track down whoever this person is, or others like this person who have firsthand knowledge, and get them to go on the record about what occurred. Because it's obvious here that the law was broken. It is obvious here that the victims' rights were not respected. And it is also obvious here that more people, besides the ones that have been discussed at length, like Acosta, need to be brought to account here, okay? And when we're talking about Florida, Barry Krischer is the first person that comes to my mind. When you go against the grain, if you rock the boat, if you raise your voice about something that you don't think is on the up and up, the sheriff's office is very vindictive, the deputy told Contact 5. And I've heard a lot of that about Palm Beach. I've heard that there is a lot of that kind of behavior and thought process amongst the rank and file that it's not a good idea to rock the boat down there and you should just do what you're told. And that seems to be pretty prevalent in sources that I've spoke with who were involved in law enforcement who were tasked with chasing down Jeffrey Epstein. When I was in New Mexico and I spoke to one of my sources, an ex-law enforcement agent, they were of the same mind. They were so disillusioned with how things were going and with how people like Jeffrey Epstein and his rich cohorts were able to finesse local politicians and state politicians that they decided to give up their lifelong dream of being a law enforcement agent after over a decade pursuing it. That's how disillusioned they were with what was going on. And you see that with a lot of these ex-police officers or people who speak out who were involved with the Jeffrey Epstein case. They ran into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock trying to prosecute this guy, trying to get this guy behind bars in a manner that is fitting for somebody that is as big of a predator and as big of a danger to the community as he was. And you see it with a lot of these guards that speak off the record, a lot of these cops that speak off the record, and it's always the same story. And that story is, you cannot go after the political donor class. It's like they're their own class of people, right? These bigwigs, these bagmen, these people that are spending money hand over fist on politics. These are the sort of people that you just cannot go after in these investigations. And that's what I heard from the sources that I've talked to and what you see here from these types of articles where we hear from people who were directly involved in what was going on and how it was almost impossible for them to do their job correctly. The deputy then described Epstein's 2008 and 2009 work release program, a privilege he was able to attain despite pleading guilty to soliciting prostitution from a minor, as being in clear violation of protocol, which called for deputies to have eyes on Epstein at all times. And again, this goes into what I'm talking about with the Public Corruptions Unit. If they weren't doing their job and they let Epstein roam around free and he was allowed to abuse, traffic, whatever have you, then I think that would definitely be the sort of thing that the Public Corruptions Unit would want to take a look at, right? For starters, when you signed up for that detail, it was a plainclothes detail, and that almost never, ever happens, the deputy said. We were told to follow his vehicle in our own sheriff's issued vehicle. I was told, when he went to his house, to stay in the driveway. I don't know what happened behind closed doors when he went in the house and allegedly had lunch, you know? He could have been doing anything during that time frame. That is one of the reasons I stopped working the detail. And again, if you're one of these rank and file police officers, right? I mean, your job is hard enough before everything that has just started to occur in this country. Now, forget it. So you have your superiors telling you to sit in the driveway. You don't know what's going on in the house. Anyone could be there. What if a girl was brought there before you guys got there? What if he had that all set up with his procurers and his groomers? And there's a deputy in the front while Jeffrey Epstein is abusing a girl in the back. What, that's out of the realm of possibility with Jeffrey Epstein? I'm sorry, folks, it is not. And these cops, I mean, imagine being this guy. Your superiors are like, all right, we need you to watch Epstein, but here are all your rules. And they give you a rule book that's from the floor to the ceiling high. It's just absurd. The whole entire case surrounding Jeffrey Epstein is absurd. Everything about the way they tried to quote unquote prosecute him the first time around is absurd. And the reactions from those involved are most assuredly absurd when they are called out on their behavior. When asked who Epstein consorted with while working, the deputy said the majority of people he remembered seeing were 20-year-old females in well-dressed business attire. Well, I don't know how you could tell they're 20-year-old females. I guess maybe as a cop you have a better idea. I guess, maybe, from looking at people's ideas. I don't know. I'm not good at that age stuff. When I was young, I worked at a casino here in Las Vegas called Treasure Island. And they used to have this midway down there where they had all of these, like, carnival-type games. And they used to have this weight-guessing game. And you would have to guess people's weight, guess their age, the whole nine. And I was absolutely atrocious at it. I cannot tell you how many stuffed animals I ended up giving away on that stupid game. So much so that they moved me to a different game. So that goes to show you how good I am at guessing people's ages. I'm just terrible at it. So maybe this cop is a little bit better than I am, but I really don't know how you can tell how old somebody is these days. I thought it was strange that, besides me, myself, and Mr. Epstein, we were the only males in the office. I remember I took note of it mentally, the deputy said. What else was unusual about it was the fact that he was allowed to leave the office and go to his residence to have lunch. I've never, ever been to a detail where that was allowed to happen. So, again, these people who put this in place, all right, the prosecutors, Dershowitz, Left Court, Starr, and the rest of them, all need to be held to account. Why did Jeffrey Epstein get special privileges that other inmates did not have? And who was the one who initiated it? And then who put it into play? Those are the questions that you would think the Public Corruptions Unit are mulling about right now. Multiple women have filed lawsuits alleging that they were flown from New York to Palm Beach and forced to have sex with Epstein during his work release hours. Right there, that alone should make the state of Florida complicit. And the girls who were abused when supposedly this animal was under wraps and under guard, they should sue the state of Florida, the prosecutors, and I would go after Dershowitz too. I don't know if that would work out or whatever, but I'd go after all of those people because they all helped facilitate this abuse even after they knew what Jeffrey Epstein was. How dare you let this guy out on work release? How dare you not bury him underneath the prison and get rid of the keys? The deputy further told Contact 5 he and others were mainly supposed to just sit in front of Epstein's property and just log the names of any person who came or left the office. However, when Contact 5 requested a copy of the logs kept by deputies guarding Epstein, PBSO spokeswoman Terry Barbera confirmed that the records were, get ready for this folks, destroyed according to their public records schedule. Isn't that just convenient, Mrs. Barbera? The records are destroyed. The video is destroyed. Everything's destroyed. You know what's really destroyed? The official narrative. That's what's really destroyed. It is quite obvious that their official narrative was, and always will be straight up garbage. Jeffrey Epstein was protected by the prosecutor's office. And not only that, because of that protection, they helped facilitate the abuse of every single girl who was abused while he was supposedly under their watch, and they must answer for that. That sounds like the smoking gun right there, said the deputy about the destruction of the records. That is highly suspect, especially with the sheriff's office, where they keep records of everything. And in this day and age, with computers and trilobyte memory sticks and all this other jazz, you don't need to destroy no records. Everything that is of public concern should be stored and saved. Destroying public records. What a bunch of garbage. It must be nice to have that to fall back on. We had that stuff, but Joe on his lunch break just put that in the shredder 10 minutes before you got here. What a coincidence. Are these people for real? How is it that we have been asleep at the wheel for so long, folks? My fellow Americans, how is it that we have not held these people to account? I don't know about you, But the days of letting this shit slide, the days of not paying attention to what these scumbags are up to, those days are long over. In an email to the news outlet, Barbera said any such allegations were false. The allegations you are depicting below are factually untrue and or inaccurate due to the ongoing criminal investigation that is being completed by FDLE. No other response regarding these allegations will be given by the sheriff or the PBSO. Further, your email will be forwarded to the FDLE for further investigation into the deputy's allegations. I just love it. I love it. I love it. Due to the ongoing criminal investigation, we're not telling you shit. How often do they use that as an excuse? That's another thing that needs to be addressed with all of this criminal reform we're talking about, okay? I don't want to hear that BS anymore. Oh, well, this is under investigation, so that we can't give you any information about it. Well, it's real easy for the government to initiate an investigation to keep the information from the public, isn't it? And we have already established we can't trust the jackanapes that run our government, can we? And I don't just mean this administration, folks, okay? I'm talking about all of them, collectively. So, why would we believe anything that Miss Barbera has to tell us about procedure or otherwise when it comes to the shit show that is the Jeffrey Epstein case? And if anybody is going to be looked at through the microscope and have a nice bright light shine directly on them from the Public Corruptions Unit, I think that the perfect destination would be Palm Beach. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. As far as my emails go, folks, I got a ton of them right now. I'm trying to get through them. So if you sent me an email over the weekend and I have not responded, no worries. I'm trying to get to them. And I should have all of the emails responded to by Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. All right, folks, all of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. And me? Well, I'll be back later on and we will hit the gas one more again.